Today's episode topic was a request from a listener, Ephraim Gage. So thank you, Ephraim, for your suggestion. For anyone else, if you got ideas for this show, feel free to reach out to us on social media or at our email, mail@kirbyconversations.com. We are always happy to hear ideas from listeners. And while we can't necessarily grant every request, we'll do our best to choose topics based on what people are asking for or hoping for. So thanks again, Ephraim. I hope you and everyone else enjoyed the show.
This is like the first Kirby game that I played that just like really wanted to show you how Kirby lives his life.
Yeah, I love that.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah, we get like a day in the life of Kirby.
This one had like a whole beginning segment that maybe wasn't necessary, but I just like that it was in there. It's like he's fishing, he's sleeping, he's, having a snack. It's like, that's nice.
He just rides around in the Warp Star.
Yeah.
I love that. Hello all and welcome back to Kirby Conversations. I'm your host Gigi. I'm a translator of Kirby stuff. I am the editor-in-chief of We Kirby and I'm just all-time Kirby fan. And I'm here today with Sean. Hi Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a writer, teacher, and podcaster. And I'm also one of the founders of the Soundstone Podcast Network that our show is a part of, along with Pixels and Polygons and Flashback 64.
And we also have here Bridget. Hi Bridget.
Hi, my name's Bridget. I'm a longtime Kirby fan, online commentator, collector, fan artist, and I'm happy to be back.
And today our topic is a game that's very dear to me. It's Kirby Triple Deluxe. What do we think about the game, like maybe the 3DS and anything else related to it. So does anyone want to get started like talking about in general how they feel about the game or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, sure. I love this entry. I think it's great. I thought it was very welcome after Return to Dreamland. Even though both play very similarly, I felt like this was more single player focused. And so it felt really concentrated in terms of like the level design and the puzzling. And I felt more, in a sense, more engaged to play it as a single player. I also thought it used the hardware really well. Like it's a very like defining game for like Kirby on 3DS, in my opinion. It uses like kind of the, what do you call it? Not the motion control, but the gyro. There we go.
Yeah.
Uses the gyro, the 3D, to good effect. And it really lives up to the Triple D 3D effect of the 3DS.
Yeah, I also feel like Triple Deluxe uses well the dual screen. I know dual screen is like from the DS, but I also really like the Kirby games that have like two screens. So you can have like the gameplay in the top and then a couple stuff in the bottom screen. And they had like the assist stars. And I just think it's like something really simple that you can just like store an item and use it. And reminded me of Squeak Squad, but just it's like it's small things like that makes you realize that this game was really made for the hardware. So yeah, I agree. It's really nice to see like how Kirby games, they use the hardware to the full potential, even if sometimes you don't realize. I think it's really cool.
Triple Deluxe is not one of the games that like looms largest in my memory as far as Kirby games are concerned, but it's just such a solid all-around game. And it's been fun to revisit it for this show. I think in some ways we like it has so much in common with Planet Robobot, right? And I think like kind of for me, like the individual twists in Robobot stand out more than the ones in this game. But this is just such a solid all-around Kirby game that, like you were saying, Bridget, it uses the 3DS hardware so well. It's in some ways kind of a safer Kirby game, I think, if we think about the risks that some other games take. But just a really good introduction to what Kirby's going to be like on the 3DS.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to not compare this game with Robobot because they're really similar in a lot of ways. Personally, for me, like Triple Deluxe is like my second favorite game, and Robobot is my favorite. But what I like about both games is just that they feel really nice to play. Personally, like I think Bridget mentioned like the level design for single player is a bit more focused because it's just single player. So the stages feel very polished, and I really like the twist that's really like small of the foreground and background, like going back and forth. It's something that sometimes just feels like it's there like to like spin up things a little to make it like a bit different, and maybe they could like just have one playing, like they don't need like the mechanic to make it work, but it's really cool like to go around and jump from warp star to the other plane. I just think it's really cool and something I hope one day they try again. Like I realize on the Switch, I guess they focus more on multiplayer, but like I just think it's a really neat mechanic that I think for Triple Deluxe and Robot, but like we're talking about Triple Deluxe, but I think that's something that also stands out to me when I like compare it to other games. It's oh yeah, they have the foreground and background mechanic that makes the stages feel very fresh, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think just to mention too for our listeners, like the distinct thing with this game is that it often gets compared to Planet Robobot, but the
Mm-hmm.
way in which this one is different is instead of something like the Robobot, you have instead an ability called the Hypernova,
Mm-hmm.
which makes Kirby's inhale ability even more powerful, and so he's able to swallow whole segments of like the level or huge enemies and things like that that make it different. So in a way it's like paced a little bit slower because it ends up being a bit more like puzzle focused
Mm-hmm.
versus feeling more like an extension of Kirby's like power abilities that he just can get with the robot and on his own in Robobot. But I feel that I know it gets overshadowed by Planet Robobot, but I do feel like it has its own like quirks that are like in a way like really exists because it's doing hypernova. Like there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
personality with the hypernova and like the levels and like the interactions with things in the levels that's like it's kind of missing in Planet Robobot, where it's like
Yeah.
you get a power in the Robobot and that's kind of it, right? Like the joy is in seeing what the power is, much like Kirby, but with like the hypernova it's like what am I going to destroy? Like, what am
Yeah.
I going to consume? How's it going to react? Like, what funny face is it going to make? Like, there's all this personality that it has that is distinct to Triple Deluxe, which is sort of like, another way of looking at it that it does do sort of well in versus like Planet Robobot. Even though I also prefer Planet Robobot, but it's really good. It's like a nice element that's unique to Triple Deluxe.
They get such good gags out of it, and
Yeah.
Yes.
that's just something I enjoy in games. I've said this before in the show, but how like when you're rewarded just with a joke or a funny moment, sometimes that is reward enough. And
Yeah.
just the weird little slapsticky bits that they get from those hypernova segments. In the very first, is it the very first level? It's one of the first times you use hypernova. You're fighting this mole that can go in the ground and come out again, and he'll try to trick you by putting up this decoy of himself, and it's just this
Yeah.
like hand drawn like cardboard like picture of himself. But it just does these like funny little things like that where you have to like wait for like it not to be the cardboard guy, it's the real guy coming out. Or in
Mhm.
one stage where there are these big like turnips that you're inhaling and you have to spit
Mhm.
them at
Yeah.
these birds. Like there's just such silly things going on.
Yeah.
And like even if they're not necessarily, it's not the most complex twist that Kirby has ever had, but it is one that is reliably fun and reliably funny. I think there's one with like kind of inspired by the Three Little Pigs too.
Yes, yes, I want to
Yeah.
mention that. I love that one.
So a lot of humor in this game coming from just Kirby being able to inhale things that he could never inhale before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that like Hypernova has like its own charm in a way, and honestly, I also like again. It's hard to not compare to Robot, but I also like the whole Robot armor a bit more. But like I think Hypernova just because it's kind of puzzle oriented, it allows for those moments that are just really unique to this game, and I love it for that. I'm not like the type of person that sometimes I know some people sometimes they say they replayed Triple Deluxe and they don't like the Hypernova segments because they take a while. and that's true. But personally, when I replay Triple Deluxe, I really like the Hypernova ones because I just think they're really fun in general. Like, even if I know the solution to the puzzle because I've played a couple times, I just think it's neat, you know?
I'm one of those people who struggled when it came to like redoing kind of similar segments, especially with like the remix stages or like replaying the game right away. I was like, oh, yeah, this is like, it really does kind of slow you down in a way that the Robobot armor doesn't. But like, it's one of those things where if you set it down for a while, like I was playing it recently, of course, for the podcast, revisiting it, and it's like, oh, this is really nice. Like I don't mind it at all when I'm revisiting. It's like, maybe it's not something you want to do right away after you just played it, but if you put it down for a while and come back, you're reminded how funny and charming it is.
It reminds me a little of the super abilities from Return to Dreamland, where it's more about doing these set piece things at a certain time when you're handed the specific ability to do them. So it isn't necessarily just part of the fabric of the whole game in that way, but at least those moments where you're specifically scripted to do these things are still fun.
Yeah, and they have fun with it. Like when you mentioned the turnip one, I like that one a lot because there's like the random chance too that you could get like a sexy turnip, which has just like longer roots that look like legs crossing. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like pink.
I do not remember the sexy turnip.
It's really random, and it's like if you replay it and get the sexy turnip, it's like this very funny moment. So it does things like that I think are it does allow you to enjoy like a replay.
Yeah.
When you play, do you use the 3D like filter?
I use it a little bit, not all the way. I use it a little, and I have like the new 3DS XL, so it has that thing where it can find your eyes, and it just works a little better to use the 3DS compared to the other models. So I'm a little more willing to use it on that one, but usually after a while, I do kind of have to turn down the 3D just because I already wear glasses, and it's a little intense.
Yeah, I don't personally like use it. There's like, I don't remember if it's just one room, but there's like at least one room with some Gordos that have like different depths. So if you use the 3D effect, it helps you like figure out which way Kirby can go. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that well, but like that's just the only place I remember using it because like the 3D actually helps with that.
Yeah, I was going to mention those too, right? They do puzzles with the depth perception where it kind of looks like everything is lined up, but if you turn the filter on, you can see that they're not actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to play with it on, but quite low.
Yeah,
same.
It gives me a headache after a while, so I just use it when I feel like I should.
Yeah, it looks cool, and that's the whole point of the 3DS. I think it's just, when it comes to visual stimulating things like that, I think it's like, I think most people, when you talk to them about their experience with the 3DS, it's like most people I know in real life, they just turn it off. Something that I liked about the game was the opening, which is like I guess Robobot has this a little bit, but this is like the first Kirby game that I played that just like really wanted to show you how Kirby lives his life.
Yeah, I love that.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah, we get like a day in the life of Kirby.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you don't really ever get that in the games. Like you kind of get a little bit with like the cutscenes in like Kirby's Adventure and stuff, where he's living his life. But this one had like a whole beginning segment that maybe wasn't necessary, but I just like that it was in there. It's like he's fishing, he's sleeping, he's having a snack. It's like, that's nice.
He just rides around in the Warp Star.
Yeah.
I love that. And it reminds me of the Superstar Ultra cutscenes a bit. Like it feels like maybe it was inspired by Superstar. That's just how I felt, at least. But yeah, I really like how it shows like, oh, here's Kirby having like a normal day, and then he goes to sleep, and that's not a normal day because it's not a normal day.
It's like one of those get ready with me videos. Start your day with Kirby. Let's go for a ride in the Warp Star. Now we're going to have a snack.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and I also enjoyed the setup to this game where it's like there's something I like about the storytelling in Kirby game where it's simple, but it also kind of avoids like kind of the same story that most retro games in their time did, which is like just rescue the damsel in distress and there you go. That's like your formula, right? Kirby was never really quite about that. He was always about, just doing stuff for the community, uh just being a hero who wants to help people. But this is kind of the first time where he is in a damsel in distress situation, but it's not even typical because it is DDD who is the damsel, and it's very fun. Especially as you see Taranza taking him between the levels, like dragging him in his net with him.
That's pretty funny. I really like that they did that. Like they didn't have to. Like they could just have like Kirby fight the bosses. But I really like that every boss is like Taranza going, "Oh no, Kirby's here, and let me try something," and does something, and then Kirby fights the boss. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, this is a nice detail, and I like that this is kind of like a game about their relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like gone are the days of just like him suspecting DDD or them having some kind of competition. It's like their relationship has changed. Kirby. We could tell Kirby enjoys DDD, likes DDD, and wants to help him even after everything DDD has done. And they have nearing the end, without getting into spoilers, I suppose, there's like a really nice moment between them, and it's
Oh
like a
yeah.
nice evolution of their relationship, and then there's quite a bit about DDD in this game too, that ties into the whole Triple D aspect of Triple Deluxe also.
Yeah, I really like that because this game actually, when I played when it released, was a game that made me like DDD a lot more than I did before. I think just because like showing DDD being more like Kirby's friend than just like, oh, the self-proclaimed king of Dreamland. But DDD lately, like especially after Triple Deluxe, was like around the time of Triple Deluxe, started being treated more like as a friend of Kirby, like I guess as a rival, but like a sort of friendly one. So I like that we see that Kirby decide to like spend a whole game going after DD after everything. I think it's a very Kirby thing. Like Kirby is the type of person that just befriends like anyone. Like DD is not exactly someone that did a lot of bad things compared to maybe many other like other bosses and final bosses. But I just really like that they made a game that Kirby goes after DD of all people. It's really to show people like, yeah, Kirby and DD may have like their moments, but they're still like friends deep inside. I think it's a really Kirby thing to do. Like I just think it's really cute, really.
It is really cute.
Very charming.
I do like that the game is a kind of chase, right? You're in
Mhm.
pursuit of Taranza the whole time, but
Yeah.
it also like it makes you wonder about all the item collecting Kirby is doing too, where he's like looking for King DDD, but then he's like, "Oh, there's a keychain. Oh, let me see what's over here," right? Which also feels very Kirby at the same time.
Yes.
And yet
Yeah.
somehow you're always like almost catching up to him. So I don't know what else Taranza is doing while he's
It's starting
it's
to like
creeping
fly
easy.
around carrying DDD. He's heavy, so he has to like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
has to beat.
It just takes a while.
Yeah. It's a big guy. In terms of the game itself, I do enjoy it overall. I think it's a good handheld title. Good use of foreground and background. Good use of 3D. Good use of. I feel like something it had over Planet Robobot as well was using the hardware, like the gyro, for various puzzles and things like that. Like when you moved. Kind of like the thing to pour water on the flowers to make them grow, or move your little cart so that you would deliver the key someplace, even move shifting pieces to like get the cannon to blow up. There's a lot of clever use of the gyro, which I think they didn't really have at all in Planet Robot. They kind of just like took that all out, right?
Yeah, I think Robot had still a bit of those, but like way less. I think, yeah. I remember a while ago I replayed pretty much like every modern Kirby game. I remember going from Triple Deluxe to Robobot and realizing like, whoa, Robobot really toned down like the 3DS stuff compared to Triple Deluxe. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I really like how creative it is. Like choose the gyro, and again, it's a very Kirby thing to just pour like a giant cup of water to grow flowers. Like, why is the cup of water there? I don't know, but it's Kirby, so just use it to grow the flower and reach to find something. I love that about Kirby. It's just really, it's it's like what mysterious, mystical, whatever. Just it's there. Don't question it.
Yeah. Good use of gyro, good use of 3D effect. I really love the 3D effect in like there's a circus tent area and you have to look into the mirror to see what's in the foreground.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite like sections in the whole game. I was like, this is so clever and cool, and it's a little like sneaky for a Kirby game to be like, watch out, there could be a pit there, or there could be like this could be a fake door. Like that whole segment was very fun and very cheeky and like you mischievous for like a Kirby level, and it was like pretty refreshing. It just felt like the game had a lot of ideas, like even though it's in the shadow of other games, it's like looking back and replaying it, it's very creative entry with a lot of uses for the hardware and a lot of play with its levels. And in a way, it's like that becomes like a memorable part of this entry anyway, was how it went from idea to idea. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love those mirror segments. I think they're really creative and fun, and yeah, I think you said everything. I just want to like, yeah, agree.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that. It's really cool, really creative. I guess I'll say a little about the sub games, which there's is this the debut of Kirby Fighters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that, but to be honest, it's cool. But like whenever I play like the Smash Light game or another Smash type game, it kind of just makes me want to play Smash. So even though it's like a really cool idea and it works because it's Kirby and Kirby is, obviously uninfluenced there. I felt a little more interested in like the DDD Drum Dash, which is like an all new rhythm game. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, Drum Dash has quite a following.
Oh yeah,
I love Drum Dash. Funny enough, like Drum Dash Deluxe is actually my favorite Kirby spin-off. but but that's really because I love rhythm games, and like I wish there was more of them from Kirby, because I think Kirby has so much like amazing music that has so much potential, and Drum Dash is also really fun. It's unique, like you have DDD jumping the drums, and especially compared to like Kirby Fighters, because I just said it's like Smash Brothers but with Kirby, which is fine, but like looking at Drum Dash just feels like way more creative. And that, yeah, when I replay Triple Deluxe, I always go like, yay, Drum Dash, and then I look at Fighters, oh, Kirby Fighters. We have to do that for 100%, but I go, oh, Fighters. And Fighters, especially like after they did like Fighters Deluxe and later Fighters 2, going back to the original is kind of like weird. It's not bad, it's just like, oh, it is the first one, so it's like way like simpler and doesn't have a lot more. It's just like, oh, fight a bunch of other Kirbys and that's pretty much it. And fight Shadow Kirby, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a little dated now with the new ones, but it's fine.
Yeah, if you just treat it like a side mini game.
Yeah.
I seem to be like one of the few people that like doesn't feel like Kirby Fighters reminds me that much of Smash Brothers, because I think mechanically they are really different. Like it's another platform fighter, but it very much is its own thing. But yeah, obviously Smash Brothers is just a much more complex and in some ways maybe a more polished game. But I still find Kirby Fighters to be quite fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed 100% in this game, so I never felt like, oh, I had to do this this mode where I had to do a fighting Kirby game. It sucked. I remember just enjoying completing the whole thing. So I think for me, I think Drum Dash just definitely stuck out because I found it like really addictive at the time. I had to get platinum like on all the levels,
Yes.
and that was like, whoa. I don't always go for platinum on everything in a game, but I felt compelled with that one.
Yeah, same here. Like I never get platinum or like anything Kirby most of the time, and then Dream Dash is just like, I have to do this. I just have to. And I fail and try again and fail, try again. I just feel compelled to like I need to do this.
The drums are calling.
Yeah.
Magolor's in that game too, right?
Yeah.
He returns in the mini game, and I was like, oh, it's like he's alive. So that was cool because that's kind of like the first time in the modern games where like a character just kind of returned back in the next entry, but it wasn't in a big role, but still it was a little exciting. It was like, oh, there's Magolor, he's back.
Actually, from what I can tell from Wii Kirby, Magolor is in Deluxe, Dream Dash Deluxe, but not in Triple Deluxe itself. Like,
oh, okay, it was in the follow like the eShop version,
the
right?
eShop version, yeah.
Never mind then, but still, it's cool.
But he's in the Kirby Master video of Triple Deluxe, so yeah, he's still here somehow.
Yeah, so cool. So I like the whole package. Oh, this one has this is maybe the last Kirby modern Kirby game where the arena is like randomized.
Maybe.
I'm not sure about that.
Because I think Planet Robobot, they're in this maybe in the same order, but like Triple Deluxe had the randomized order, which was more reminiscent of like Superstar and like older arena. Which some people definitely prefer like to just tackle them in order so they can like better master each boss. But it was kind of a little thrilling in that one where it was like random again.
In Forgotten Land, isn't it partially randomized?
It is.
It is, yes, actually. They do bring it back to a little more randomized, except for like the last couple bosses. I guess the last boss is always going to be the final boss.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's only Robobot that's like not random at all, because I remember not liking that about Robobot. I remember having like struggling with the true arena in Robobot exactly because it wasn't randomized. So I would like not be I would like defeat the first bosses in order, like really like with no issues, and then like get to a specific boss that was always in that order that I would like lose a lot of HP. So I would go to the final battle with not much HP because I couldn't like I just lost a bunch in the previous battles. So I like the randomization because sometimes you just fail because maybe you get like the hardest bosses for you like in a row. But if it's random, you can maybe try again. They're more spread out, so you can kind of manage that better,
Oh, I never thought of it strategically like that. I always thought people maybe would prefer them in order so they can just learn each one.
Yeah.
But I guess if you just struggle with one and you could get it out of the way sooner, then it's like way better for you. Yeah, that is a good way. That's a good strategy.
I remember that with the robot arena. So, but I think like in recent entries like Starlight and Forgotten Land, it's usually like semi-random. Like the first ones are random, and then like they have like a last 4 or 5. They're always in the same order or something. I think that's usually what they do.
Okay, that's a compromise. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I kind of don't mind either or, but I remember that being different from Planet Robobot.
Yeah, Robot was the different one in this one. So yeah, it's nice that Triple Deluxe has it in random order. I also prefer that.
Yeah.
How hard is the true arena in this game compared to other true arenas?
I think it's tough mostly because it's got like a unique situation with the final boss where the platforms have gaps. And usually I don't know that like there's ever like a final boss where the platform is like a risk, like fall risk hazard,
Mhm.
where like if you're doing like I would do power runs, and if I got hit at all and like my power just fell in the gap, like there went my whole run. I would have to restart the whole thing. So like in some ways, I would say it was like definitely one of the more challenging arenas, and from what I remember.
Mhm. Yeah, in my case, usually it's funny because like the ability problem, like the bits, it's something I always see people mention, but somehow I've always been never had much problem with them. It's probably because I use leave, so I just like
Mm.
I just use the
Hide in
dog.
your little leaf
Yeah,
pile.
yeah, I just like hide and wait for an opportunity. So it's different. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think the story arena is really tough. For me, it's because of the last bosses, especially the final boss. Because Kirby really likes to do the thing where it has like the true final boss, and then it has a completely new phase that you can really like train because it's completely new. I think it's fun, like for the this boss is doing new things. At the same time, if you wanna like defeat the boss, I get really nervous, like trying to figure out what the boss is doing, like where is attacking, and then I just panic and get hit, and I'm like, oh goodness, what happened? What I'm doing? Then usually I die like in the first time because I have no idea what's going on. So the triple deluxe one, I remember also being hard to like hit the final boss, like the last phase, because the final boss just teleports a lot. So that was also like frustrating. But again,
Yeah.
I don't usually do the true arenas many times. I know many people like redoing them like with different abilities and just trying to get a better time. I'm the person that usually tries to beat them maybe like once or twice. And then I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. That's something I enjoy doing like a lot of times. I understand people who do it. It's not my thing. So I just remember like the times I was trying to beat it, usually in my first playthroughs. And then if I do again, it's because I'm starting a new file in 100%. So I just like do it because I have to. But yeah, I remember the triple deluxe one being sort of hard. Again, like I mentioned, I found the robot one because of the order. So I would always struggle with the final boss because I wouldn't go with full health. But yeah, for
That
this one,
final boss is nasty too. Yeah.
yeah, it's really long,
Um.
really long.
Yeah. I used to do power runs with different abilities, but as I get older or have less time, I can't do it. So what I do is I pick one power I really like and I beat the whole arena with it, the
Mm-hmm.
true arena. So for Triple Deluxe, I beat the whole true arena with just Ninja. And
Oh,
then
nice.
for Planet Robobot, I beat the whole arena, true arena with just Doctor.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.
Oh, and talking about abilities, actually, there's, what is it, 3 new abilities in this game?
Or
4. Oh, geez. Okay, I know. Wait, let me see if I remember. The clown is new.
Yeah,
Mhm.
circus.
Circus. Yes, I really like that one. There's one that is a Hercules beetle. Sorry, I forget what it's called.
Yeah, beetle.
Beetle.
Beetle. Okay. There's the Bell ability. Oh, and there's Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Those are the 4 new ones.
Yeah.
Okay. They're really good. I
Mhm.
love the circus one, of course, because it's clown. Archer's really good, especially if you're doing the arena, because it's kind of like Leaf. You have like that little like
Mhm.
I can't get hit when I block type of move. The Bell is cute. And the Beetle I like because it's basically grab, but with flying. So
Mhm.
enjoy that one a lot. It also reminded me of the Hydra, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we've talked in other episodes about how there's sometimes like different genres of abilities, right? Where there's sort of like nature inspired ones and technology inspired ones and elemental ones and stuff. And you got a little bit of everything with these new abilities. You have like a weapon based one. Well, I guess several weapon based ones, right? and you've got like something inspired by nature with the beetle. You've got sort of the random prop-based ability with Circus. So they're covering a lot of different types of abilities that Kirby gets in interesting, creative new ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're real fun.
I don't remember if it was about this game specifically, but I know they have said sometime, like developers, that they try to create new abilities that fit the game. Not always, but like sometimes I guess when they start brainstorming, like, oh, what new abilities can we have? They think about like the game itself. So I can see like Beetle, and I honestly can see all of them like fitting the world of Triple Deluxe. Like Beetle, I think is the easiest one. It's like a bug, and you're like in a kingdom that has a lot of bugs. So, and then Circus, you have like the whole circus levels and stuff. And Belle is just cute. I think it fits like the vibe, the fairy tale vibe, and Archer is also fits that like fairy tale stuff. So I think it's really interesting how they can like make the new abilities fit the game at the same time that they make them varied in that sense that we have weapons and we have like a nature one and like circles. I think it's really nice they can do that and still like create new abilities that are really unique.
Yeah, they're good. They're good at it. It's like I feel like they'll never run out of ideas to do because
Yes.
even with Return to Dreamland Deluxe, they figured out like new abilities that still fit like the level design of that game
Yes.
while not like affecting it, and it was like it works so well. Like they're so good at it, and yeah, they fit the games really well.
I don't think I would really count this, and maybe it's a sort of a soft spoiler, but while we're talking about modes, there I guess if someone truly doesn't want to know any of the things that unlock later in the game, you might want to skip ahead. But you do get to play as King DDD in one of the modes, right? There's DDD Tour, and I think the alternate names for DDD Tour in other languages are kind of amusing too. Where in Japanese it's "Go with DDD." For a lot of other countries, it's just called DDD's Adventures. Or DDD Adventure. In Korean, it's "Go" with an exclamation point DDD. So some combination of going or "Go DDD" or DDD's Adventures, but in English we get the pun on Detour, where you get to play through the game again as King DDD.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I do like the kind of time trial modes where you get to play as another character because at least it gives you like some motivation to like replay the game, but at least get some kind of other challenge out of it. And as you play as a new character and have to manage their way of moving, you can kind of get better times and fight the bosses differently with them. So it's good.
Yeah, I do want to mention like a small thing. The Japanese name of like DD Tour, actually in every single like like Meta Nightmare, and Guest Star Allies. Sorry, ignore Guest Star Allies, but the Meta Nightmare mode in Japanese is also like Go with Meta Knight. So the name is the same. Yeah, they just changed DDD. That's just like a small thing to note. In English, they changed like to Meta Nightmare, probably because it was in Nightmare in Dreamland, and then they kept that. But in Japanese, just Go with Meta Knight.
I feel like the Western one has to be so flashy.
I mentioned Guest Star Allies. That one, Guest Star. That one's a bit different, but I just remember because if you look at the Japanese name, it's like it also gets the Go, so it's based on that. It's because I remember that they mentioned that they wanted to do like a Waddle Dee speedrun mode, like called Go with Waddle Dee, like for maybe Bandana Waddle Dee, but then they did Guest Star to make like everyone.
Well,
that's just me remembering like an interview translator that mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, they had like that connection. That's when I realized the connection in Japanese too. Sometimes that just doesn't happen in other language, but I think it's cute when they reference other things from other games.
Yeah. How do you all feel about Taranza?
Well, kind of a hard.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
weird. No, I didn't mean like that. I like Taranza.
That was just like,
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
That was a positive,
Yeah. So, okay, so I mentioned that like Taranza, I like Taranza, but at the same time, I kind of understand why maybe Megalo or Susie are more popular. Because I feel like Taranza, like we mentioned, he does carry like the DD for the whole game, but you only really like talk to him at the end of the game, you know?
Yeah.
So like when you're chasing him, he doesn't have like dialogue or something. Like one of my biggest wishes for Triple Deluxe was that maybe like in every boss stage when Kirby finds Taranza, maybe Taranza could like have some dialogue. It doesn't have to be like much. Going like, oh, you're after me. Oh, I like whatever. Because I feel like people like Megalor and Susie because they have dialogue throughout the game. And then there's like a bigger connection with them. Taranza, he's an interesting character. I like his backstory with Sectonia and everything, but it just feels like the game doesn't do much with that, other than maybe the pause screen descriptions, and even then, it's not a lot. So you kind of finish Triple Deluxe, and you sometimes forget Taranza like exists. It's funny because I remember talking with some people like about how they feel about like Kirby characters in general, like people who aren't really big Kirby fans. And I noticed many people sometimes just forget Taranza exists. It's sad, but it's funny. Like compared to like Megalor, people don't forget about Megalor because he's really present in the game. He talks to Kirby all the time, and even Susie. Susie is also like she has dialogue and she's after Kirby and she says a lot of stuff and she's also in the box art, so maybe that helps as well. But so yeah, I like Taranza. I just think like the game didn't give him much like spotlight. Maybe he's not as memorable because of that. And I wish like in other games they did more with him, but like as of right now, they haven't done much. So I don't know. I think he's an interesting character. I like his backstory and stuff. It's just I think he could be more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for being a new character, he's more of a supporting player.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I like him. I actually like his design kind of the best out of the three because it's so weird. Like he's like a weird spider, but like he's maybe wearing a wig for some reason, and like maybe his eyes on his head might be his eyes. Like I don't know. Like he's so weird. I like it. Like he might be freakier than he lets on in terms of like what is his actual face or eyes or whatever. So I really like his design a lot, and I find him a bit more sympathetic, honestly, than like either Magalo or CZ, because like they seem like they're kind of, well, in the case of Magalor, he's definitely in on like the mischief or whatever, and Susie's sort of into her own thing in regards to the business, but like with Taranza, he's sort of like this tragic figure where it's like he's doing these bad things, but he's like probably so desperate to help a friend who has become this other person, and he probably doesn't know what to do. And then right at the end, he makes this like, after being mistreated by her too, because she kind of just abuses him and like throws him to the side. He makes like, even he's had enough. He makes this big decision to sort of, after everything he's done for her, just like betray her too. So like, I don't know. I find him in a sense a bit more sympathetic in terms of like, he's a bit more of a victim, I feel, of circumstance and tragedy, or, he's doing something bad, but it's like, he's probably like this desperate person. And he's got a really cool design. I don't know. I feel like he's, in a sense, kind of like really stand out between the three, but he is like more invisible. Which, I get. He doesn't talk as much, but I feel like with that knowledge of the character, I found him like really interesting. And like, I don't know. I like Marks, and he has a very small role. But I guess even he talks more than Taranza. He's just like, Kirby, I'm a little jerk. And people remember that. So yeah, I guess dialogue does help with the remembering the characters. And, all three are great, of course.
Yeah.
He does get overlooked.
Yeah, Taranza's a hard character to talk too much about without spoiling things, but I would agree. I was also going to use the word tragic to describe him because there is just there's kind of an intense emotional arc going on with that character, but it's all packed into the latter part of the game. And then when he returns again in Star Allies, we're presented with this character who is in mourning to some degree over events that transpired in the previous game, and it really does start like it's Kirby getting into these topics of death and mourning and loss. And you get the sense that there is a lot of interiority there that the game is exploring, which we don't necessarily get a lot of that from some of the other characters in the same way. And so in that sense, like there's a certain emotional depth to him that is very central to the character. And that's really interesting to me. It's just a shame he doesn't really get to do as much in the main game that he is from.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like he does have a big following. There are certain people that are really big, hardcore Taranza fans who I think will be very upset if he's not in Air Riders.
Yeah.
Ooh, he needs to be in Air Riders.
I hope he is. I hope he is. I guess I don't know. Check back to this podcast in a few weeks when we find out. But I am a little surprised by and that is not to disagree with the people who are big fans with him. Like by all means, like whatever characters you want to like he definitely has a cool character design and he's got some neat abilities and stuff. But I'm just surprised sometimes at how big an impression he has left on certain players for the lesser screen time he gets compared to some of these other characters.
Yeah, some characters are iconic even without having to have that big a role. Sometimes it's what the character does that sort of stays in people's memories. Like Marx is a character that has a very small role and yet he has a lot of personality and does something quite like shocking at that time for like a player who's just going through the norms of completing a quest in a game only to be bamboozled. And like he still gets merch to this day, even though he's not shown up as a playable character or boss since like Star Allies, you know? And it's like, why is that? It's like sometimes it's like kind of the impact the character has that makes them memorable. And I feel like even though Taranza didn't really talk that much, I think that emotional depth to him has made him pretty iconic to Kirby fans who've played some of the more recent games.
Yeah, I feel like usually when people are really big fans of Taranza, it's really because of that tragicness of his like story and backstory and everything. Like he, like I mentioned, I think he's a really interesting character, and like I don't remember which of you mentioned, but Kirby doesn't really go that direction that much. Even though Susie does have a bit of that, Susie is like more evil, so she's like she doesn't care, but Taranza cares, so he's like a bit sad and everything. So I think that's interesting. So in that sense, he like I understand people that like him, but at the same time, I hate saying this, but like I understand why they reveal Maglor and Susie before maybe Taranza if he's in Air Riders, because I just feel they are a bit more popular. Not that Taranza isn't. I hope Taranza is the Air Riders to be like to make it clear. Like I think he would be really nice, and I think it's fair for him to be there. At the same time, if he isn't, I sadly understand. I think out of these three that I mentioned, he's like the least popular. Maybe, like I mentioned, I talk to people who aren't big into Kirby, and they remember Maglor. They often remember Susie, and they often forget about Taranza. Or if they do, it's because of like Kirby Clash or something, because he's also there. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to play as in Star Allies.
Yeah, he is.
I like his moveset a lot. He's a sort of combination of the spider ability, which I already really liked the spider ability, but he's like a spider mage kind of design, right? And I mean, there just aren't a lot of spider mages in video games, so having a spider with magic powers is a neat thing to have around.
It's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Spider Mage.
Spider Mage.
Yeah.
Your friendly neighborhood spider mage.
Yeah, I like how he wraps up the spider ability does this too, where you like wrap up the enemies and they're just crawling in their like web coffin or whatever, like
the spider
moving
pod
around in there. This is morbid, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you all want to talk something else about the game, but I did want to mention. First of all, do you have anything else to say like about the game itself?
I think we hit a lot of the points that I had thought about going into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to like mention and remind people, because I know sometimes people forget, but Triple Deluxe actually had a lot of MiiVerse posts about like the development, the game itself. And it's really interesting, like, first of all, MiiVerse, like, it's a bit of a throwback at this point. Like, it closed, I think. Do I remember when it closed? Like MiiVerse? Like
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I mean, we
20,
can quickly look that up.
2017, 2018? I think it was around that. But yeah, regardless, like MiiVerse.
2017, I guess, is when
Okay.
MiiVerse wrapped up.
But yeah, Triple Deluxe had a lot of like MiiVerse posts, and personally for me, I remember like when they were posts, like just reading them was really fun, because sometimes they're just like small things that just like, oh, did you know you like they just talk about like Dream Dash Deluxe, or they just talk like about a boss or something, and sometimes they do have some trivia that's cool, and they also talk a lot about development, but honestly, I just think it was something really cool that I guess they do that with in other ways, but I like that MiiVerse was maybe more like accessible. And I just think MiiVerse was a bit like laid back. I don't know what you all think about it, but I just remember like reading those posts, and it was really fun. Like maybe it was something funny, it was something interesting about development, or maybe something about the game I had no idea was a thing. One thing I do remember, for example, is the. Do you all know about the junk box Easter egg, like the colored notes of the composers? Do you all know that?
I don't know this.
No.
Okay, so starting with Triple Deluxe, if you play like a song in the jukebox, you will notice that sometimes the notes are a certain color, and this actually indicates the composers of each composer of each track.
Cool.
And they post about that on MiiVerse, and I had no clue that was a thing until I saw that, and after that, never forgot. But in Triple Deluxe, the blue ones are from Hirokazu Ando. You probably know him from like Kirby's Adventure and other games. Like he did like Smash Bros. Music and whatever. And the red notes are from Jun Ishikawa, which was the guy that made like the first Kirby game music, Superstar, and like Kirby 64 and many others after. So even today, like in Kirby games like Forgotten Land, they have like a bunch more new colors, but that started with Triple Deluxe, and they made a MiiVerse post about it. And I don't think anyone before that even thought it could be like, oh, maybe these are the composers. And I just think it's fun that they talk about that, like, oh, if you notice, the colors indicate the composers, like the jukebox. I think it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people are obviously big fans of like game music and want to know like who did what track, and that's like
Me.
such a cool way. Yeah. Cool way to indicate it. And it's just like a nice little detail. It shows how detail rich like the game's features, and down to some of the menu thoughtfulness in regards to the composers. This is nice. I remember that the MiiVerse posts too were sort of like kind of when I first saw like Shinya Kumazaki's artwork. Like his actual drawings of like characters, and him actually being like a really good artist as well. Was like, oh, that's really cool. And you got some really cool like fan art from like the director and the developers. It's awesome.
You all have a great collection too of all the MiiVerse art on Wick Kirby. I'm looking at it now, and it's great to have those all archived in one spot. And then for the anniversary post, they talked about how the name Triple Deluxe, it's a nod to the 3D, right? In the 3DS, right? But then like it's, if you imagine like DX being like deluxe, it's also the 10th mainline Kirby game. So like Roman numeral X, and the idea of 3Ds are also in King Dedede's name. So there's a few different things going on with the Triple Deluxe name, and the like playing with that idea of the 3DS.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think this like MiiVerse started like also the trend of then celebrating like anniversaries of, I guess, games, like making those posts. They used to do those after MiiVerse on Twitter, I think they stopped like I know like every year on the Kirby anniversary, like for Kirby's Dream Land, they have a new illustration. But I think it was MiiVerse that really started it because even like the Triple Deluxe ones have a Kirby anniversary illustration. I think it was drawn by Kumazaki actually. It's the one that has Kirby and DDD.
Nice.
Yeah, I just think it's nice that like, I know like MiiVerse, ended, and they also had so funny fact, I'm the person that document a lot of this MiiVerse posts for We Kirby a while ago because again MiiVerse and then enclosed, and it was nice to have a place with outposts in the same place to look at. And Triple Deluxe in MiiVerse, especially compared to Robot, had a lot of posts. Like the Robot one, if you all remember, was mostly the contest. They had like screenshot and artwork. They didn't have a lot of like development posts like Triple Deluxe did. The eShop games, the Fires Deluxe and Drum Dash Deluxe, they also had MiiVerse posts like Triple Deluxe did, like of development and stuff, but Robot didn't. So I appreciate that about Triple Deluxe because Robobot didn't have a lot of development stuff. And if you know me, like I like translating the development stuff because I like knowing also like how the games develop. Like maybe they comment about like some Easter egg or they just talk about like a little detail they put in the game. And I think it's just fun to really like the devs talking about the game they made. But with Robot, we didn't have a lot of that because they didn't post a lot of MiiVerse. And with Triple Deluxe, you feel that connection with the developers, like they are sharing with the players, like, oh, we did this thing, like, oh, do you know that we made? I think they talk like about every single ability. They talk about like mini bosses. They talk about even like the later part of the game, like later on I think they wait a couple months to like talk about like the final boss, but they start talk like about the final boss and everything. So it feels like more personal, like. It's almost as if Kumazaki and the other developers are just like saying layers to the players like, hey, I did this. Do you know that when I made this, we were thinking about this? It feels like more personal than an interview where it's just like someone asking questions and the developers answering. This one feels more like they're sharing what they want with the players. I think it's really neat, and I wish we still had that. We don't have a lot. I think we had like some Switch news posts. Like they had like a couple of these, I think, for Starlight, if I remember correctly. But even so, I don't think they felt the same. And again, I think they didn't do like for Forgotten Land and Return to Land Deluxe and other games. So again, this feels more personal, and I think there's also something about MiiVerse that I wish like I miss a bit, like when I remember about MiiVerse. I didn't use it a lot, but I also like looking at like people's posts, and I just think the MiiVerse posts for Triple Deluxe specifically were more like personal letters the developers are selling to the others. I just think they're neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like MiiVerse was something special in general,
Yeah.
It was like Nintendo's way of kind of having like their own little like forums and posting without having to do like online as much because they were a little hesitant with like kids and online posting and all this stuff. But there's so many gems from that era of just like the silly, funny things that kids would like post. And it's like now this kind of memory, like I remember it was so attached, like in tune with like Splatoon also, where like so many of like those posts would be in the game. Like it was such a big part of that game. Like it is like definitely this moment in Nintendo time that's like a little special that will unfortunately never come back. I guess the closest modern thing to like the devs sharing little information on the regular has been like the Nintendo Today app is like kind of posting stuff about the recent games, but there's not that like interactivity as with like MiiVerse, so it's definitely not quite the same thing still, but it is a special moment in time for that game and that means of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is kind of wild that Nintendo just had their own social media network for a while, basically, right? That's essentially what this is. And it's a sort of gem from back when social media was more fun. right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
and like there's a little more novelty to it, and yet it wasn't encumbered by all of the other stuff that you get by going on other social media platforms. It was its own cozy little network, and I don't think I ever really did any Miiverse stuff. Like I enjoyed seeing like the pictures that people drew and like the sort of the natural connectivity that went across the Wii U and the Miiverse and stuff. Because that was like they would like take things that were posted on Miiverse, right, and then show them on the Wii U home
Yeah, you
screen, right?
could.
They kind of broadcasted things that way.
Yeah.
But just what a cool little thing that's also a representation of that moment in time. Maybe we should spend an episode just revisiting some of those Miiverse posts at some point,
Yes.
because that is
Mhm.
a nice collection of content that you've done such a good job of archiving.
Yeah.
Could you tell me more about the StreetPass functionality in Triple Deluxe 2? Because that's another thing where, like, clearly I was not using my 3DS to its full potential back in the 2010s. Because, like, I never really did StreetPass stuff. I never really went to Miiverse. But I know that there's stuff with StreetPass in this game too.
Yeah. So in Triple Deluxe specifically, Street Pass does pretty much two main things. When you have like Street Pass, but then a Model D, there appears like occasionally in the levels, gives you like better items. And if I recall, you also get like some extra keychains, and you could even like get like ones you don't have. I think that's the only way. Also, you can get like duplicate of the rare keychains, but like that's not common. But I know some people like collecting like duplicates of the keychains, and that's the only way. And you can also share the records of the arenas and Didi Tour with the Street Pass. So let me get my 3DS right now because I think I have some right now. But I think you just go like to a screen that has like records or something, and you can also see the times of other players who have Street Pass. So it's not really
Okay,
anything
that's
like
cool.
super big, the Street Pass of Triple Deluxe. But again, like we were mentioning earlier, I just think it's neat that Triple Deluxe try to use like every 3DS hardware thing, and also that includes Street Pass.
Yeah, it's still cool to get a time then, I guess, from someone else, right? Because there's this sort of
Yes.
interactivity there that you could maybe go to an event or something and be around other people that have 3DSs and lead
Mm-hmm.
this like new challenge where you're like, maybe you don't know that person, but you're like, oh, I've got some stranger's time now that I want to try to beat or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of not. It's like a version of leaderboards, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
just that you share with each other between each other. Was there ever any? I know the 3DS had like those puzzle pieces that you can straight pass and
Oh
like
yeah.
collect. Did they ever do like a triple deluxe one?
Oh, good
I don't
question.
remember. I think that maybe they only did one that had Magalore in it, and maybe not triple deluxe. But um,
I'm trying to
'cause I don't.
remember.
I guess you didn't need the triple deluxe game for this, but I don't remember if they ever
There
did
is
like.
one, yes.
There is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm looking at with Kirby. It has like Kirby runs through stages resembling Fine Fields, Wild World, and Lollipop Land until he comes across a miracle fruit, which he jumps toward.
nice. Okay. I remember I collected them at the time, but I probably don't have them anymore, but
Yeah.
it
I
was cool.
remember I had a couple complete, but I remember struggling with the rare, like the middle ones that were like unique. I think you had like to trade them with other people through. I don't remember. I remember the middle ones being rare. I don't remember exactly like how you would trade them. I just remember not completing a lot of puzzles because I never got those middle pieces for most of them.
Yeah. It's hard. You have to really get I would go to conventions or I would have I
Yeah.
think at that time I was in college. Well, I'm in college now, but I was in college again back then. And like I had friends with 3DSs who were willing to share or like coworkers that were willing to
Mhm.
share. So it was the only reason that I was able to complete those cuz
Yeah.
they're pretty difficult.
that. That's actually why you went back to school.
Yeah,
It was to finish
that's
the
why I'm
puzzle.
going back to college again. I actually walked by a kid who had like his 3DS open, and I was like so tempted to like, hey, I could bring my 3DS in, and we could share.
I love that.
Yeah, there people are still using 3DSs, so it's possible.
I'm trying to remember what else we could talk about. Do you all have anything else you want to mention, like about Triple Deluxe or I don't know, Street Pass or something 3DS related that relates to Triple Deluxe or something?
I don't think I have anything at the moment.
I don't think I know of anything new regarding the game other than Taranza has shown up again in Star Allies. He's shown up again as a boss in later Kirby what is it? Kirby Deluxe, the Monster Hunter game.
Super Kirby
Kirby Clash.
Kirby Clash. There we go. He's shown up as a boss in that one, where he's like an evil version of the good guy. He also was I guess popular enough to at least get a plush, and he has a very cute plush of him that exists. If people needed some Taranza merch, there's a very nice plush of him.
I think isn't there kind of a fair amount of Taranza merch?
There might be a bit more than I think. I know there's definitely like little keychains that had him on it. I think actually on the subject of merch, the collectible in this game were these little keychains that were of the sprites, and those, I think they did make in real life keychains of those sprite keychains.
They did, yeah.
So there's definitely that one of him, of his, like, they make him like if he were to have like a Kirby's Adventure sprite or something, and so they made one of him in that form. But they made one for maybe most of the sprites in that game, those keychain sprites. I have one.
I should look
they're
these
not
up.
easy
I
to
didn't know
find
about
now.
those keychains, but that sounds neat.
They're really cool. I don't think you could find them now. Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm pretty hard to find.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were like just in Japan, and yeah, I wasn't aware of them like until a couple of years ago. And right now they're rare, and sometimes you find some that are really expensive. So
yeah,
but yeah, like I don't think we touched much on the keychains. I guess there's not much to talk about them, but I think it's neat to have like something to collect that's just. I forgot which of you mentioned, like, oh, Kirby is going after Didi, but he has time to like collect this keychain. Because I just like personally, like I just like collecting them and seeing like what I would get. There is a little like small thing like to celebrate the Kirby games in general. And yeah, like I guess they don't do much other than just stay in the title screen. I like that they do that, and you can just tilt the 3DS. And the keychains just lied. I think it's a really, those small things they do. It's really nice. But yeah.
They're good for completionists, and they're these special gold ones that were.
Yes.
There's one in each level, and if you found them, they're like a super really cool sprite of like a final boss or something really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they were required for 100%, but it was something a completionist could do as extra, is like find the golden keychain in every level.
Yeah, they are required for 100%. So yeah.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. So you're gonna have to find them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I guess should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, I have talked what I wanted to say. So if you're all good.
Well, thanks, everyone. I guess that covers everything we were hoping to talk about in this episode. Thank you so much for hosting, Gigi.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And so Kirby Conversations, again, it's a production from Gigi and Bridget and me, Sean Douglas, along with Kai, Captain Dangerous, Parker. And we are part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, along with Flashback 64 and Pixels and Polygons. Our theme music is by Megan Kells in a new arrangement by Duncan Pixel T. Smith. And if you want to reach out to the show, you can contact us at the email in our show notes or any of the social media handles there in the notes. We are most active on Blue Sky, but we post occasionally on other ones too. But that is our show for today. We will be back again soon with more Kirby Conversations.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Listen to Flashback 64, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. Hosts Gooey, McKenna, and friends flashback to the 90s and early 2000s with a look at the Nintendo 64's catalog and its contemporary cultural and historical context. Starting with the console's launch titles and proceeding in release order, we discuss classics like GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, and Star Fox 64, as well as some not-so-beloved games, lesser-known titles, and everything in between. Along with game-specific deep dives, we also cover other bits of pop culture from the time, like films, music, and more. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.